We just watched the final Nintendo Direct. Bless, how you
Tim.
feeling?
It was a Direct. We talked about this for the last year, the Four Horsemen, the games that are announced and the games that come out, which feel like they're signaling the end of the Switch and feel like they're a result of how late we are into this generation, right? And like that feeling of, oh, Nintendo's holding the big guns for the next thing, and so don't expect anything big. And like this Direct very, very much felt like that. I think when you get a Direct surprise announced for the week before the Nintendo Switch 2 Direct, you know what you're getting into. You know what's going to be par for the course. And so like we go through this, and I look down at the announcements, and I'm like, okay, yes, this makes sense, even though there are surprises here that are delightful. I think Patapon being announced for Switch is delightful just because it's such an unexpected thing. And I think what that signals for the future of PlayStation, especially when we lump in Everybody's Golf into there's a conversation to be had as far as, oh, wait, if Everybody's Golf in Patapon can come to Switch just out of nowhere, developed by Bandai Namco for some reason, like what else can that mean? I think there's a conversation that we'll have later about that. But then you get other neat games. Witchbrook is a big one. That's a game that I know a lot of Stardew Valley fans have been looking forward to. I think if you ask Joey about that, Joey's gonna go crazy over how Witchbrook is one of those games that has felt like it's been in development forever. I had a friend text me this morning that was like, oh, there's a game that was announced. I'm not gonna spoil it for you, but I've been waiting for this game since 2017. And I was like, oh, did they announce Hollow Knight Silksong? and then seeing Witchbrook, I was like, that makes sense, actually. That makes sense that is the one.
That's been in development since 2017?
That's been in development for a long time.
God
I think
dang.
they said they were waiting for it since 2017, so I
Holy
don't know
cow.
if that's just like since Stardew Valley or if it really has been since that long since they announced it.
That's cool.
But then you have other bizarre things. The virtual game card thing, we're going to talk about that. I think it's weird in how they presented it, and I still don't think I fully understand what it is, but I'm excited to talk to you guys about that. But overall, like, there's a lot of stuff here where I'm like, I really just don't care about a lot of these games, but also not everything's going to be for me, right? I think the pocket of games that are for me, I'm excited about, even though most of the stuff here doesn't really do it for me. What's up, Barrett?
Was there any Wind Waker today?
Oh, no, there was.
Was there any Twilight Princess today?
I owe you a fucking pizza, don't I?
You owe me a
Wow.
fucking pizza today, Bless.
Wow.
Pizza bet.
Wow. And that's
Go for
I was
it.
say that's another thing is we got to have a conversation about the things that weren't here, because that's going to be such a fascinating. What does that mean for the future? Because there was no Zelda, but also I'm wearing my Donkey Kong shirt, my DK64 shirt. There was no Switch Online stuff here, which makes me think, oh, are we going to get more Switch Online stuff at the Switch 2 presentation? And what form does that take?
We saved that for the meal, not the appetizer.
I mean,
Donkey Kong 64.
Yeah, baby.
fair enough.
They're shutting it all down for Switch Online 2. They're getting rid of everything else.
What do you think of this?
I thought it was okay. We got what we expected. This was like, if I were to average out every other Direct we've ever watched and boil it down to, like, this would what would come out of the lab. This is the result of it all, right? It's
Labo.
a bunch of, a couple of games that look interesting and stuff that I might want to play, and a lot of other things that I have no interest in, but there's clearly a fan base for, because they're always pushing games like that. I thought Witchbrook looked neat. Fucking Secret Life of Walter Schmitty or whatever. Looked
Eternal
cool.
Life of Goldman.
Eternal Life of Golden, that's the one. Cool look at Metroid. Hadn't seen Metroid in a while, right? This is the second time we've seen actual Metroid gameplay. Really, really neat seeing what they're cooking out over there. And then, of course, that awesome scene at the end with the new suit. Very cool looking. But, just some weird stuff with the game cartridges, along with this little app that I can't wait to talk more about. Tim, what'd you think?
Yeah, I mean, I'm kind of where you guys are. I think maybe at the end of the day, maybe a little higher, just because I appreciate that Nintendo Directs in the last couple, maybe like year or two, have made space for collections of old games, like the Gradius thing and stuff like that. Like recently we got the Marvel vs. Capcom collection, the fighting collections. Like, they just keep putting out these collections that I think are good, and like I'm such a fan of those old things, so it's nice to see them back. The amount of HD remasters of classic JRPGs, like, we're somehow not done with that yet.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Saga Frontier 2 remaster.
I appreciate that they're like, hey, we're going to do them all. You know what I mean? And they're clearly, like Andy's saying, is an audience for those. So I think that stuff's great. But on top of that, there was multiple announcements here that I'm excited about. Like Eternal Life of Goldman, like first time I've seen that. Really hyped for that now. Everybody's Golf and Patapon, like that's kind of big deal stuff just in terms of the inside baseball, like what's that mean? And like it gets me so excited for some PlayStation IP that I would have thought would ever come back in any way. But now it's like, all right, cool. Well, if you open up to that level of an install base for weird games, Nintendo, Patapon could be a Nintendo game. You know what I mean?
Right.
Mm-hmm. So I think that's cool. I do think it's a little weird that Nintendo seemed to almost tit for tat have like a call and response for games. It's like, cool, Patapon is in this direct. Also Rhythm Heaven.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's like Tamagotchi. We also got Tamagotchi, whatever. It's like, all right, that's interesting. See Metroid Prime, it looks amazing. Like this looks there was a long time I was like, wow, Metroid Prime, before we knew what it was, it's like it is going to be something totally different. And then when it became clear Metroid Prime 4 is going to be Metroid Prime 4, I look at this, I'm like, thank God they're about to nail Metroid Prime 4.
Yeah,
you know?
Metroid Prime, right? I played for the first time with the remaster that came out a couple years ago. And I look at that and I look at this and I'm like, these look like the exact same game in the best way, right?
Yeah.
Like obviously Metroid Prime 4 has its own things that it's doing, psychic abilities. We'll talk about that shit, right? But yeah, I look at that and I'm like, that looks like the thing I just played, and that's all I want.
This podcast is brought to you in part by Stash. Are you still putting off saving and investing because you'll get to it someday? Stash turns someday into today. Stash isn't just an investing app, it's a registered investment advisor that combines automated investing with dependable financial strategies to help you reach your goals faster. They'll provide you with personalized advice on what to invest in based on your goals, or if you want to just sit back and watch your money go to work, you can opt into their award-winning expert-managed portfolio that picks stocks for you. Stash has helped millions of Americans reach their financial goals and starts at just $3 per month. Don't let your savings sit around. Make it work harder for you. Go to get.stash.com/kindafunny to see how you can receive $25 towards your first stock purchase and to view important disclosures. That's get.stash.com/kindafunny. Paid non-client endorsement. Not representative of all clients and not a guarantee. Investment advisory services offered by Stash Investments, LLC, an SEC-registered investment advisor. Investing involves risk and investments may lose value. Offer is subject to T&Cs.
Are you still surprised with no date?
Yes, I'm incredibly surprised. Like that's the thing. That's why it's like I'm not like I don't love this direct by any means. Like I don't even think that this. I'd say that this was good. I don't think that it was bad, and I think it's a little better than fine. I do struggle a little bit because like I feel like I'm always looking for the answers and to the questions we're asking. It's time for a Prime release date, and maybe we get that in a couple days. But seeing it here before then, I feel a little weird about. It just kind of seems like maybe an oversaturation.
I'm surprised because one of the things I predicted was that we would get maybe a little taste of Metroid Prime 4 here, and then they would say look forward to the Switch 2 direct for even more about Metroid Prime 4. Because if Metroid Prime 4 is coming out on the Switch 2 release day, then it makes sense of why you don't say it here. But then if you're going to have it here and not do the baton pass to the Switch 2 direct, then I just think that's weird.
Yep, and I think, it's very likely that it is a launch title for the Switch, so all that makes sense. But it's just watching this direct, a little disappointing, I would say, even though game looks great to me. Pokemon ZA, the Royal Tournament, I'm like, that's kind of what I want from a game like that. I think the nighttime stuff looks way better than the daytime stuff. Not like it's a pretty game by any means, but it's like I think it looks better.
It looks fun.
It looks fun, which is great. And then I just think that overall there was the Marvel game popping off for that. Dotemu have really been crushing it, and they just continue to, like with Ninja Gaiden. Then there was that game Absalom that I previewed a couple weeks ago that is a new IP from them, and it is awesome. Had a great time with that. But yeah, looking at this, I'm like, this is cool. And as such a big Marvel fan, I love that they're like, all right, cool. We could just go with the straight up old school, we're bringing the X-Men back or whatever. I like they're going cosmic. I like that they're like, hey, people understand these characters in a different way nowadays. Let's like get a little bit more weird and have like some of the main characters be like Captain Marvel characters and stuff, and Nova.
Yeah.
So that's kind of cool, but also still have Storm, which is badass. But super stoked for this. So I can't be mad at a showcase that introduces a game like this. But on the Nintendo side, like the business Nintendo side, not one, but two bizarre ass announcements. Like the way they presented the digital game stuff is weird. I want more info on that because that has to be a good thing. This has to be a step up from what we had. They just didn't make me believe that from how they showed it, right?
They didn't present it well. Yeah,
they didn't present it well.
The messaging was really not executed well.
And then the Nintendo Today thing, having Miyamoto come out for that, like that is a WND into like, oh wow, this feels like 13 Nintendo when things were dire.
I watched that live, at first, my first instinct was same as Andy's of like, oh, it's got to be a park thing, like maybe something we don't know yet. And then I went to what you said at one point of like, oh, Super Mario Brothers 2, and like the complete left turn again. Yeah, bringing him out for that is so. Why are we ending on this? This is so weird.
But it feels so right.
It feels so right for the final Nintendo Switch 1 Direct. It felt perfect.
See, then that's the funny thing is I thought it was going to be like a hey, this is the end of Nintendo Switch 1, Focus Directs or something like that, right? Of hey, this is an ushering into the next generation of Switch. Even if it was just that, I would have been like, oh, that's fun. Like great that they brought Miyamoto in for it. Him coming out for this, I think is weird, but also I do wonder if we are downplaying what they're trying to do with it. Tim, you know better than anybody, like the Smash, like it was the Smash Brawl era where they had like a new Smash announcement every single day. Mm-hmm. Maybe they're trying to recreate that for the Switch 2 and use this as a really big marketing push of, hey, there's news to look forward to every single day after the Switch 2 Direct about the Switch 2.
I mean, they literally said like, hey, we're going to like put out information about Switch 2 after that, which I do think is exciting. The idea of Pikmin 4 comics, there's a lot of potential here. We'll just see how far they take it. And 6 months ago or whatever, they put out the Nintendo Music app, and I think that also has a lot of potential. And so far, I wouldn't say it was a failure, but it also isn't succeeding as much as it can. Like, they keep making weird decisions. They put out Kirby and the Forgotten Land soundtrack a couple days ago, but they only put 23 songs from it, and we're like, hey, the other songs are coming later. And it's like, you're drip feeding half of a soundtrack? Like, what are we talking about here?
I will be setting an alarm to check the app every day.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
They got you.
Do you guys also think that this is probably just future-proofing for Twitter? Because, like, Twitter's already a place where it is.
That's a great point.
That's the Nazi app. Like, that's like the, Elon Musk is doing his best to fucking, fuck that place up. Maybe this is a thing of, oh, man, we've been relying on Twitter for so long for a lot of our social media interaction. Let's have a place that we can own, that we know if every other social media platform goes down, this is still the central place to go for Nintendo news.
Yeah, I just don't see it working. Like, to me, I feel like that's all a great idea and that's awesome. Even just looking at Nintendo's like social media presence, like they're very bizarre, and just like Nintendo, there's no rules. But like the amount of times they've promoted Donkey Kong Country Returns HD in the last like 4 months, they promoted this game more than they promoted any game ever. And it's like kind of weird. It almost feels like a very tone deaf type of thing. And I understand people's jobs to promote the games. It's weird when you like go look at Nintendo of America's Twitter and just scroll back the last couple months and tell me it's not fucking weird. And like, I just feel like it doesn't really give you what you're looking for.
They got
and I love Donkey Kong. I love it. I just think it's weird. So I don't really have faith that, we're going to get interesting content every day. I guess that's what I'm saying. But more than that, spreading it across a bunch of apps is not a good idea. Like, if this was embedded into a Nintendo Switch Online situation where there was one app that got you all these features that connected with your games and it got you these social features, a Miiverse, if you will, like, I think that there's like levels there that could be cool. This just being a Nintendo news app that might have some comics for a bit until they decide it's not worth it anymore. Yeah. I just don't know. I hope I'm wrong. I hope it's awesome and there's exciting news coming out, but the thing that worked so well about Smash is it was a single game with a like single understanding of like what would make the fans excited. If you're and they would drop like a new stage and in the background there'd be like a picture of an item we hadn't seen and people lose their minds. If they do that and it's a screenshot of Donkey Kong Country Returns HD and people are just like you could jump. You know what I mean? It's like and that's what I think it's gonna be.
Man, I think it would be so sick if for Switch. Well, it won't be OLED, so that sucks. But like with OLED, when OLED is first introduced on handheld products or whatever, they have like the night mode where you just like leave your phone docked or whatever, and you only see like info that lights up and not the whole screen is lighting up or whatever. Yeah. But if this whole news app was implemented into an OLED device, obviously the Switch one has an OLED variant of it, but it would be so cool to like wake up and on that app, you get the first news blast that like there's a direct coming tomorrow, and you're like, oh shit, this came here before Twitter or before any other sort of news outlet. They put it here first. Yeah. If you start putting news there first, then people will know to check that first.
I just don't think they will.
But
you're right though.
I think they will because it's way more important than like checking a soundtrack, right? Like that's such a different element, and I think if you condition the audience to know this app is going to be the place where we're putting shit first, unless they just move everything to 4chan,
Let's go all in. Look, let's embrace
Sammy boys.